Welcome to the Conscious Publicist Podcast, a space where thoughts become ideas to advocate for a more conscious human experience in the media. Our thoughts and ideas inspire action, and the most notable leaders and organizations have transformed thoughts and ideas into global initiatives that have impacted the lives of millions. My name is Ashley Graham, and as a woman-owned business founder and publicist, I guide leaders, visionaries, and creators in discovering their conscious media voice and methodologies that inspire connection, community, and impact through aligned media channels. In this podcast, we'll dive into public relations, thought leadership, business, and entrepreneurship, all through the lens of being a conscious human being. I'll take you behind the scenes into the habits, thoughts, and modalities that have helped leaders shift past paradigms of limiting beliefs, comparison, and self-doubt to show up for themselves to become the subject matter experts they were called to be. Subscribe to the show on Apple or Spotify and join us on this journey of awakening the conscious, enlightened leader within you. Continuing our guest spotlights in the clean living space, I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest, Prima. Prima is the visionary behind Solterra Tribe, a sustainable personal care brand merging biotech innovation with ancient Indian wellness traditions. With a background in biotech and pharma, Prima's applying that same scientific rigor to revolutionizing beauty, proving that clean, effective, and radically sustainable can go hand in hand. Prima's mission with Solterra Tribe is to challenge industry norms by creating nutrient-dense, plant-friendly products that nourish the skin while leaving zero waste behind. Her debut product, Lip Bloom, is a ghee-based refillable lip balm housed in water-dissolvable packaging, setting a new standard for eco-conscious beauty. Under her leadership, Solterra Tribe has already been featured on ABC and is quickly gaining traction amongst conscious consumers like myself. In our conversation together, we explore the importance of giving attention to the overlooked aspects of our daily routines, but also how small decisions can create substantial impacts on both our health and the environment, and Prima's journey to create a movement that bridges Eastern and Western approaches to wellness. From innovative dissolvable packaging to formulations with just 4 nutrient-rich ingredients, Prima's work demonstrates how businesses can lead with intention and create positive change from outside established systems. So if you've ever wondered what's actually in your lip balm, why everyday products deserve more scrutiny than luxury items, or how small brands can make waves in industries dominated by major corporations, you don't want to miss this illuminating conversation. Oh, Prima, I'm so excited that we get to share this conversation together and put it out into the world. I'm going to start us off with our first question for this conversation. What story is wanting to be told through your wisdom and your brilliance this year?
Thank you so much for having me, Ashley. This is such a great opportunity to definitely tell the story that needs to be told about Solterra Tribe. And I'm so excited to talk about the stories. I've often worked in a background of being in Western medicine. I come from the FDA, Food and Drug Regulation world, and I've seen how things work. I'm a true believer of science. I love science. I love all kinds of science. That's what makes me different. I'm not all into Western. I'm not all into Eastern. One thing I did notice was there was a very big gap between Eastern and Western. It's always like a tug of war, push and pull. Do you believe this or believe that? And being in Western science predominantly, I've learned that there's so much more to it than just what we see. It's also how we feel. So I decided to embark this journey of providing more limelight to things that are often forgotten. So if I could give a title to my story, the word would be overlooked. I wanted to start a journey of bringing limelight and bringing attention to things that we don't even think about, we don't even see, we don't even ask questions that need to be asked. So that's like the beginning of my story.
That's incredible. I actually am so glad that you brought up the point of being overlooked. I feel that was a good influence of our pre-conversation. So I want to dive a little deeper on that.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit more about your perspective and how you overcome that label of being overlooked.
So let me start off like with the way I've started this company, and maybe if I can position it that way. I always wanted to bring all these different kinds of sciences to the forefront. But what I noticed is that a lot of advice that I was given is you should try for big ticket items. You should do what everyone else is doing. Why don't you focus on perfumes? Why don't you focus on expensive face mask or things like that? Or why don't you talk about hyaluronic acid? These are all things that are not overlooked. They're pretty much very much in the forefront. So I wanted to start off with things that are like our everyday items, things that you will encounter every day. Science is in our lives every day. So I wanted to focus on things that actually influence your life long term and we just don't see. So something as simple as lip balm is overlooked. Small businesses are overlooked. Eastern science is overlooked. Our world around us, environment has been overlooked. So I wanted to bring all of these elements that have been overlooked and is only now gaining some traction, but they've existed for centuries. So I wanted to bring that to the limelight. So I'm fighting to make sure that there's credibility. It's existed, a century's worth of data here, and it's just not in front of us. And because it's not in front of us, it's not getting that attention that it deserves. So that is the traction that I'm trying to gain with Solterra Tribe.
I can't tell you how many times that reaching for a lip balm just doesn't exist normally in my day to day. Like
Yeah.
when I think about my skincare routine, it's usually the focus on the face and target areas, and my lips are just not, they're not
Yeah.
really a focus half the time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny because it's like the most used item that we have. Like people use lip balm. What it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your likes are, your lips are going to feel dry. And you use the lip balm. And lip balms are in people's cars, pockets, purses, everywhere. It's everywhere. And you grab it as an impulse purchase. People are always telling me this needs to be an impulse purchase. You just buy it at a counter, or you get it free at a trade show, or your dentist clinic has their own little lip balm. And so that tells you the amount of attention that the lip balm is getting, even though you're using it multiple times of the day and it's with you your entire life. So it is the most overlooked item. And in fact, the reason why it's important that it shouldn't be overlooked is because it's the easiest pathways for toxins to enter your body. It's on your lips. You eat, you drink, you speak, you lick your lips, you do all these things with your lips. And nobody goes and like thinks, oh, what's in my lip balm? You'll buy it for $10, you'll buy it for $2. It doesn't matter. This lip balm from Solterra Tribe is pretty much the symbolism of the movement. The movement is don't overlook the everyday items. Don't overlook things that influence big change later on. There are many studies that exist out there, and some studies they can't even happen because there's all these big corporations that don't want you to know how much lip balm you consume in a year. Like 4 to 9 pounds is what an average consumer eats of their lip balm. And I use the word eats very consciously. You eat your balm without even chewing. So let's think about that. Why is that not a question? Everyone's, oh, you should make yourself a face cream. Great. But let's think about your everyday item, which is overlooked.
I actually really enjoy your content because you integrate that messaging into almost all of the pieces of content that you create on Solterra Tribe. You, just for some perspective, you cut up one of your lip balms and you made it into a spread for toast. And you actually
Exactly.
had a video of you chomping down on the lip balm. And that right there, if we're talking about the journey of overcoming being overlooked, you have this way of attracting people in to be a part of the conversation. It's not just about what's happening on video, you're drawing them in to have the conversation. I think that is smart marketing that
Thank
just
you.
goes distance.
Yes.
If you'd be open, talk a little bit about some of those creative ideas that you have to have a bigger message through your content.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make the world understand that if you are putting it on your face, it should be something you would eat. You don't scrutinize your lip balm like you scrutinize food. You don't scrutinize what you put on your face, like your makeup remover, your moisturizer, like you do whatever you're about to eat, like a sandwich. You don't. But your skin absorbs everything. Your lips absorb what you eat. Your body eventually absorbs it and metabolizes it. Yeah, it might be micro amounts, but those things accumulate over time. And that's those hidden pathways that I don't mean to scare, but I definitely mean to raise awareness around your lip balm being that one aspect of your everyday use items. It should be scrutinized like food. So we're playing that food and cosmetic concept here. The lip balm should be as good enough to eat. That's the point, because you are eating it.
No, I love it. I believe that some of the most impactful things that you can do from marketing or publicity or your messaging is to use it as a way to creatively hit on bigger issues. And I feel that you do an incredible job with that.
Yes. If I may add to this, is why now? Like, why should we care now? Why is it that I'm bringing up lip balm now? Why hasn't anyone asked this question before? And I have a very good answer. I went in and I investigated why is it that all of a sudden in the past 10 years, even less than, we have this wellness industry coming out with having good juices, eating healthier, turmeric shots, ashwagandha, all these wellness practices, so to speak. Why do they exist now? And that's because I think people are finally getting the visibility and that transparency of what has happened all these years. We've been very short-sighted about health, and I can say that being in this space. One thing I've noticed just being in the industry, that you have a new drug or a new food that's going to hit the market. So we have a ton of data and we trust it, and 10 years, 20 years, but an average person lives longer than 10 years. They live longer than 20 years. What's going to happen after that? Why is the risk calculation like this? Why can't it be more reliable data? And what that means is a lot of these corporations, these big corporations that I've been a part of, I'm noticing that a lot of them are thinking, how can we hit that bottom line? How do we make sure that this business is sustainable? Business is sustainable. We're not thinking about your long-term health being sustainable. And so now that we're hitting a wall of, wow, we're getting all these diseases, we're seeing all these issues appear, people are waking up. It's like a shock. Oh my gosh, I can't. I need to be healthy. I need to eat better because you've been not, so to speak, cheated of having all these bad toxins be introduced into your body without even knowing. Just ask yourself this question. If you go out today and you're unprepared, say you don't have food ready for you, you don't know what to do, you're having a bad day, what are you going to do? You're going to maybe go into your car, drive to a drive-through, buy yourself a burger, eat that, go home. All right. Very convenient, not very expensive. You had to sit in your car, you eat your burger. The industry, our system is designed to make those things be convenient. Now, if you want to do something healthy, get a salad, you want to take a bike, you want to do all that, it's not that easy because our system is not set up for that. Because all these years, they make those bad things convenient for you. Lip balm is convenient toxins entering your body. It's right there. It's convenient for you. So we're trying to make that change, that industry change, that we need to demand better. And Solterra, starting with something as small as a lip balm, is showing that you can have healthy options be convenient for you. You want to do what's good for the environment, it's good for your body, it's backed with thousands of years worth of data, and it's an everyday item. And all you have to do is make the switch, vote for some brands like that, and then slowly people will catch on to being like these big corporations that have existed for all these years need to do better. Consumers want better. So we're going to do better.
Oh, I love where this is transforming. This conversation, I can just see the layers of this conversation building. So, you actually hit on three anchor points that I'm starting to notice is a common thread so far in the conversations that I'm having. Obviously, environmental impact, our mindset around how we consume, but then what I am very passionate about, which is having self agency over our decisions. You were talking about something that was so profound in the sense that the systems are designed for us to easily stay unconscious in how we consume. And it takes an awakening of its own kind for you to step out of that matrix to see that there are other choices. There's a different way of living. So I love, again, like you are just forming these anchors in your messaging in your product, but also simplifying it to where somebody can start with a simple decision of being more mindful about the lip balm that they're using.
That's it. Exactly. Everything starts small. Every little thing that you add to your life, every decision you make leads you somewhere. So as we continue having brands that are in the space of wellness and true wellness and environmental impact and true environmental impact, I think we're slowly making waves. There are more and more brands that are coming out with those demands that we should be striving for. So it's enormous to see that us as consumers have that power. And we often forget that we have that power. We have more control. The industry will shift where the consumers decide. And if it's inconvenient for the consumers to make the right choice, then it becomes difficult. So there are definitely challenges, even for me as a small business, to make those waves. There's definitely challenges, things that exist, that are already existing, that have been around for a long time. They have all these resources at their disposal. Small businesses do not, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they cannot, because we do see time and time again small businesses grow into bigger businesses and with that we form that trust. So I think it's so compelling to see these new brands being generated with the same mission. Like Solterra, if I were to describe this brand that we have, like we've created, it's very, very much based on this community. We want to build this community of people that thoroughly care about themselves and they care about the lives of the ones they love, the environment, and are skeptical. We want them to be skeptical. I love it when a customer asks me a hard question because then it makes me go, that's right. We should be doing this. Why not? And you want your voices to be heard. So I like to build that community with Solterra. We already have this enormous amount of support from our customers right now where people are like, okay, let me put it this way. Our lip balm, people think that having a lip balm is just a lip balm or it's going to break apart in your pocket because it's so sustainable. No, we've made this balance of you can be environmentally friendly, eco-conscious, healthy, but without having it be like this self-sacrificing choice where you can enjoy what you love. So we want it to be an enjoyable experience. So our packaging is made with bamboo and aluminum, and it still feels that luxury, but the true luxury is the abundance in nature. You're going to have a variety in nature. This is not going to harm the environment. And then on top of that, our formulations are very simple. And even with the simple formulation, it's still a very luxurious feel. It's very silky. And to strike that balance was years in the making. But it was an amazing journey getting there. And it was because of the community, like having these voices of what they want, what they like, what they dislike. We want to hear out people. People love to feel included. So Solterra Tribe, like you've met your tribe. One of the things we say all the time is your vibe is our tribe because we really love the diversity of opinions and viewpoints, but we all care about the same thing. We care about ourselves, we care about people around us, we care about the planet. So, yeah.
You do a fantastic job of trailblazing with your brand. I feel that any founder of a brand or a business has been given an incredible opportunity to set a different path for others. I love how you were speaking to in the community, you believe in diverse voices and diverse perspectives and diverse experiences. That alone just builds that picture of community. But like I was saying, if you're in a position to create a brand or a business, regardless of whatever it is, you have such an incredible opportunity to shift the narrative, to shift the ways that consumers live or we buy and bring awareness to bigger issues. I think it's such an incredible space to be in. I obviously am so honored to be in the space that I'm in because I get to have these conversations, which lights me up. But one of the things that I wanted to circle back to is through community and through your messaging, there is an education component. In what ways are you seeking to educating your consumers or even people in your community or that follow and love the ideation behind your content? How are you educating them to become more mindful through consuming or being more environmentally friendly?
I think that the best way to educate is to ask questions. I think that one piece of advice that I was given as I've been in this industry is your right crowd of learning are the people that stimulate the right questions in your mind. It's not the people that give you the answers. You ask those questions for yourself because you yourself is so unique. So it's very important that when we're talking and we're educating people, I would like them to ask themselves these questions. What is in your lip balm? Why should I care? What's the point of this? Why should I care about the environment? Why is it important to me? Why is it good for society? Why do we care? These questions can only be answered by asking yourselves those questions and you're like, wait, maybe I should care about what's in my lip balm. Maybe it'll lead to some disease in the future. So you ask yourself these questions. So my format of educating through content, through our Instagram, through blog posts, how to live well, things that I've learned being in the industry, being Indian. So like I was saying to you, like around us, turmeric, ashwagandha, yoga, meditation, all of these things, wellness industry originate from India. These are practices that I've been doing since I was 5 years old, even earlier. I've been taking turmeric before I was even taking solid foods. That's how ingrained it is in my life. So, for some reason, as I was growing up, I noticed that there was no merit. I was like, oh, turmeric is just bogus. Growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, everyone like they didn't know anything about turmeric back then, but that was something I was eating every day. And so now there's all this Western science explaining like the merits of these things. So I want to educate people by bringing both these worlds together in harmony. It doesn't have to be either this or that. It needs to be education from the point of ask this question. Here's a really good question that I ask when we educate people. We say, don't follow the study. People are always like saying study. And I'm a scientist. We do studies. I study. Don't follow the study. Follow the money. Turmeric, ashwagandha, ghee, these things, there was no money when these things were invented, when people were using it. It still exists today. There was no money. So you have some reliability there. And the best form of data is real world experience, things that have been tested through time and tradition. So that's why that has credibility in my mind as a scientist. But at the same time, there's all these principles of innovation that Western science has that I like to couple with Eastern science together. We have dissolvable packaging. We have packaging that you throw into a fish tank and it becomes fish food. It's really innovative. And we're taking both of these worlds and bringing it together to showcase what the world should be, like living in harmony with different perspectives. And we do this through all forms of media. We talk about it, like I said, we do our emails. People are on our email newsletters. They learn about all of our low tox living, nutritious living through cosmetics and how to differentiate what's good packaging versus bad packaging. So these are questions to ask, and we help them guide that living.
I'm so happy you brought up the packaging because that was actually how I was introduced to Solterra Tribe. Cassandra McClure, we had gotten on our podcast recording and she brought up your product. And that was actually even highlighted in our interview that we did together. And I was like, how genius is that? That might even be a whole hour of a conversation, but
Yes.
just tell me a little bit of the backstory of how that even came to form.
Okay, I think I alluded to this, like how difficult it is to be a small business, and you don't have the resources or the fame or the notoriety to even be placed in places with the best of the best. So I was on a hunt to find materials that I could feel proud to use in the brand. Like I wanted something that I didn't have to rely on a system. And what I mean by that is recycling. It's great to recycle, but I wanted something even more than that. Like I was like, what can I do where even if the system of recycling breaks down, what can I rely on? Throwing it into the water and it not bothering the aquatic systems. How do I find something like this? So I did a lot of research, is what I do. Right? I eat, sleep, research. So did a ton of research and I came across someone that I was saying, like, listen, I really want to provide these materials in my brand. I'm noticing like the journey was how do we remove the bad? How do we not do plastic? How do we not do toxins? I want a brand that's doing more of good. Just not doing the bad is not good enough. So I don't say my lip balm's non-toxic. I say it's non-toxic and nutritious. I don't say it's biodegradable. I say it dissolves in water and is good for the environment. I wanted it to be so convenient for the consumer to feel good about what they're doing. And I want to feel good offering that and making these waves, pun intended, because it's dissolving water, but making these waves. So that journey was very difficult. I worked with a vendor that really believed in what we were doing. And he was like, listen, you're a small business. My minimum order quantity is 5 million. I really believe what you're doing, Prima, and I would love to help you. I take that as a really nice form of belief in our mission.
That's amazing. Sometimes I'm always just curious about the behind the scenes of how products and the packaging and the thought process like that is started. It's so easy to come across a product in a store and see those keywords, biodegradable, non-toxic, but it is almost living in the same energy that organic has shifted to become. You no longer believe that something is organic because it's a marketing term, it's a label, because they know
Right.
the mindset that people who are having this awakening towards more clean, conscious beauty in particular, but then also wanting to be mindful about their carbon footprint and how their packagings end up either in the recycling or the waste. You know, for me, I use a lot of discernment when it comes to shopping.
Mhm.
And I love how you mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be a this or that. But I do find myself falling in that trap sometimes where if I don't feel good about buying something, they could have all of the labels, all of the best marketing, anything and everything. I still am like, nope, it doesn't feel right. Maybe I just haven't had the right information about the product or the right information about the brand yet to influence those decisions. But this is why I think Solterra Tribe, from the way that you're positioning it, you are positioning it in the sense that we have done our research and
Mhm.
there's a level of intentionality that went into every single moving part of this process.
Exactly. Exactly. What's really interesting about this decision of even starting Solterra Tribe was like originally I knew there was gaps, like I said, in the system, being in regulated sciences. I always thought that maybe I could stay inside the system and go up the corporate ladder, follow the cookie cutter way. And I got up the corporate ladder really quick. And I was like, okay, as I keep going, I will influence those changes. I will massage the thinking inside the system, but then realize it's almost impossible. Their incentives are not the same as mine. If someone's going to make some money as a business, do better for everyone, not just the business. Then my decision went, okay, influence change outside the system. Like I was saying, being a small business owner, when you enter a conversation, you could sit at this table with the same people and you say the same sentence and you say it as, I am Prima, the scientist or what compliance officer, blah, 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 for this and this. You're heard. And then you say, I'm Prima, the founder of Solterra Tribe. And they're like, okay, but you're not these companies that are large corporations. Why should we listen to you? I was there. I know how you function. I know what you mean. I know what those conversations are. I'm just not going to be heard. That's the problem that we're solving. And we're solving that by offering this, by being outside the system. And it works. People do care about what they're putting in their bodies. And the more and more we work our way through it, I'm seeing that. And it makes me so happy being a founder of such a beautiful brand where people are excited. People come back over and over again. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this movement, starting with lip balm.
There's so much passion, and you said a key word, movement. It is a movement. And sometimes small brands, small businesses, they're presented with a longer path ahead that comes with more challenges, more hurdles, more anything and everything because they might not have the financial resources to jump hurdles. And I actually think that there is such a more beautiful journey with small brands or small businesses because you really stand behind whatever it is that you preach. I also feel that we are in a shift in times where people are voting with their dollar. They are becoming more intentional about who they back and why. I think it's one of the greatest awakenings that we're in right now. And I can only see it getting bigger and more significant. And it makes it really exciting to watch. And I'm just more excited for the right growth to come to the intentional brands.
Such
It's
an
an
exciting
exciting
time.
time.
Very exciting time. So happy to be part of it. I think that it's been a long time coming. This is literally the road that we're paving. We're paving this world. We're making a better future. I know we're constantly talking about all these negatives, but they're just opportunities for an improvement. So that's what we're doing. We're making these great improvements, and I love it. I love it. Every minute of it. So happy. It's like living a dream.
I'm honored to be able to stand on the sidelines and cheer you on and watch the growth happen.
Thank you.
One of the last questions that I would love to get your insight on is what's next? What's next for Solterra Tribe? What are you looking to do? What are you striving for? So that way anybody listening or myself, we can rally and champion behind you to support your next initiatives.
So I think our goal is to literally create this community. And like we're gonna start off with lip balm. We want people to think about their everyday lip balm and we want to stick to that product. And we want to make the best lip balm that's edible for you. But at the same time, we want the community to be those ambassadors of think about your everyday products. They are the culprits to larger issues. So we want to create and grow this movement of take a harder look on your everyday products than your luxury items, which you use once a month, opposed to something you use multiple times a day. So we really want that to continue growing. And as time goes on and as the business matures, as this movement matures, I'd love to see Solterra become like a household product. I'd love to see this being the choice because it's such a trusted brand. And I never want a brand like this to ever lose that trust. Doing the right thing is making the right choice, voting for the right company. And that's my goal, is sticking to this movement and not being, I guess, skewed in ways that all these other corporations are. We are the antithesis of those corporations. So that's what we are planning to do, is continuously grow this community, go into more products that we want to take a harder look into that creates that avenue of risk to your everyday life. So that's what we want to be the trailblazer for. Yeah.
Such an exciting time. I can't wait to see what else unfolds for Solterra.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Ashley.
Of course. I'm going to give you just another like brief moment. I know we hit on a few call to actions, which is basically follow on Instagram at Solterra Tribe
Yeah.
to get on your newsletter for more education and insights around the ideation and innovation of Solterra and the mindset, and then also your blog articles. Was there any other outlets or avenues to connect with the brand and the community?
I think voting like for the brand, it's like trying the product itself would be good. Maybe I didn't talk much about the product. So I maybe should talk about the product where it only has 4 ingredients. And should I talk about it, or is that cool? Yeah, yeah, okay. So one other thing that really helps is like choosing Solterra over all other lip balms, right? Because this is the most thought through lip balm that possibly exists. Starting from the formulation, we have everything, the word real is in there. We use ghee, which is a 4,000-year-old ingredient. It has no allergens. It's incredibly moisturizing. It's been used for 4,000 years. It's time tested. It's edible. People cook with it. And even though you cook with it, it also has moisturizing agents. So that's our star ingredient. And then on top of that, it's, I think out of all the lip balms I've ever looked at, there's like a pretty much a big like paragraph of ingredients. You might as well put that ingredient list on Goodreads. It's that thick. You need something that's short and small, 4 ingredients, ghee, beeswax, and natural flavors with vitamin E. Even with these 4 ingredients, there's about 10 different nutrients. So, like I said, we're not just removing the toxins, we're also introducing nourishment. So, if you do eat it, you're getting some nourishment out of it. Additionally, it is formulated so you use less, you have to buy less. And whatever you do buy, it's wrapped in some radical packaging of bamboo and aluminum. Really, what we're trying to show is this product symbolizes a movement. If you choose this movement, and you choose this lip balm, you're onto something big with us. You're on this journey, and we're starting this journey together.
Thank you so much for actually diving into the ingredients. I can't tell you, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but my fiance had come home one day from getting a lip balm at Sprouts, and immediately I look at the ingredients because I live by this philosophy that something natural or clean should not have more than 5 or 8 ingredients.
Right.
And there was a good half of the tube in the small little writing that was nothing but ingredients. And I immediately was like, you should probably just take this back because I'm not going to use
Exactly.
it. I'm not going to use it.
Good. That's you being a conscious consumer, being mindful about something as small as that. It adds a very big impact to your overall health. So that's good on you, Ashley, for doing that.
Thank you. Which leads me to my last and final point. I cannot wait to try your lip balm.
I can't wait either. I'm so excited. I love it, obviously, but whenever I hear people's thoughts on it, I'm just blown away. I can't even tell you how happy I am. I'm so excited.
So, for anybody else who's still with us, go and try the lip balm for yourself as well. And then let us know what you think.
Absolutely. I'm all ears, remember.
Prima, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I am so excited to be a community member of Solterra Tribe now. I'm so excited, like I said, to rally behind you and everything that you're doing. And I hope that this conversation and the show brings you more people who will advocate behind your brand and your mission, because I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me. It's been so incredible sharing our journey. Thank you.